Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay, and this is my 10-day review of the LG G8. Now you've seen me online giving this phone high praise and telling you how great it is, but there's always something about a phone that you probably won't like, and everybody's opinion of a phone or preference of something is going to be different in every light. So, 10 days. Let's start with the design. This is the design. Some people say that, oh, this is a bland design, it's nothing special, but I actually think the phone looks very beautiful. I think it's a good look. The color, the red color here looks really nice. The fact that there's no camera bump, I think they did good on that. The fact that they have a fingerprint reader still, a physical fingerprint reader, I like that. The overall footprint of the phone is actually really nice. It's a good looking piece of hardware. For sure. On the front, the design on the front, the cutout up here is dated. Obviously, you know, there's going to be some people who feel different about this part up here. I personally am over it. It's not that serious anymore, because, you know, owning an iPhone and all these other Android phones that have that design doesn't even bother me. So that doesn't mean that I'm for it, but I'm past it. I'm over. I'm not going to harp on it. It is something that could have been different. They could have place the camera any other place in the corner or something like that, or just didn't have a cutout, but they chose to do it that way, and that's perfectly fine. It comes with the package. Overall design though, I'm definitely digging this. It's just the color, you know what I'm saying? Once you get a nice color on a phone, and you know, the fact that there's no camera bump, that's just great. I like how the size and everything are good. I just really like this design. It flows right along, you know, with the black front. So the design wise, I definitely give it high marks, about a 9.5, you know, minus this cutout at the top, taking a few points off. Other than that, the design, I really like it. Now, as far as features go, this is an LG phone, and feature set, they actually have like notes and things like that, where you can do screen recording. They have a bunch of stuff into the phone already, and you know, not something that I have to use, but they do have FM radio, as you can see. You've got an HD audio recorder, you've got the quick memos, you've got little things like that. You got your separate music app, you don't have to use Google's information. You've got a game launcher, you got health, email. These are all things that are considered features in a phone, outside of using the Google information that you might feel like you're forced to use. So that's something that you should keep in mind. Under management, you got the updater and everything, but you got your file manager. Just not having to use only Google things is a huge plus for me, but most phones do have that, but some don't. So features and options, you know, kind of basic, but still, it's working. Now the screen is a Quad HD display, 6.1, and it is HDR10 compliant. So let's fire up a video here. This is an 8K video. And let's turn on Wi-Fi so it doesn't buffer too much. But it is HDR compliant, and this is a beautiful screen. That's at freaking 360. Let's put it up to Quad HD, up to 1440p, and look at it, and you can see just how gorgeous that is. It's unfortunate though they have this at the top, but it is what it is. You can see how beautiful this is. Being HDR compliant, it is just a huge plus. The screen is absolutely beautiful. I give it a 10 all the way around because of it being HDR plus, because of the size of it, 6.1, and because it's HDR10 compliant. You know, it's just a really nice Quad HD display. Really ready for OEMs to start doing 4K displays. That will be pretty nice, because I do record some things in 4K at 60 FPS or just 4K, and then I like to watch content in 4K. You know, my TVs are all 4K. Everything's 4K in the house. I would love to have it on my phone, which is why I'm waiting on Sony. But it'll be nice to see other OEMs push that 4K limit on screens, because of the price tags that companies are charging. If Sony can do it, everybody else can do it too. As far as the cameras go, the cameras, I'll just put up some footage because I've shot so much footage with this camera. These cameras, I think these are just stupendous. They are more than enough to get the average consumer or a techie the footage that they want and you're going to need. To me, these are professional grade cameras. They definitely can compete with like a lower quality DSLR. because DSLRs you can change the lenses. With this, you can't change the lenses, but you can definitely get some high quality footage in here. And I've been enjoying portrait video. Some of you guys don't like the portrait video. I personally think it's not a gimmick, and I think the quality looks fantastic, but it's not perfect. So it's the first run at it, but for what it is, I think the portrait video is actually pretty boss. Also, the cameras, some people don't like the microphones.
Out here at the lake, it's beautiful. LG G8.
I don't know why you guys don't like the microphones on this phone. I can actually adjust the microphone gains in this phone, but I haven't done that yet. So most of the video I've put up, it's just been in auto mode. I think the microphones sound great. So I think, you know, you might want to check your devices. Very few people have complained about the microphones compared to the people who have not complained. You know, I mean, the good outweighs the bad in that situation. But cameras on here, enough said. They get a 10 for me. As far as performance goes, the performance on here has been fantastic. This is, some would say, oh, you know, it's LG skin, it's LG skin. What don't you like about this skin? Like, there's nothing different about this skin than any other phone. If anything, this is a lighter skin than most of the Android phones that have a skin. So when you go into settings, this is where you see something like that doesn't look so much like stock Android, but a ton of other phones have this colorful menu right here, and I actually like this colorful menu. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I don't see any issues with this menu right here. I don't see a problem with it. As far as the skin goes, it's just a bunch of icons like any other thing. But if you just don't like it, put Nova Launcher on it. Put your favorite launcher on it. You know what I'm saying? But performance-wise, this skin isn't hindering this device at all because it's got the Snapdragon 855, and it's got 6 gigs of RAM. You know, it's got the 7nm chip. It's flowing right along. You know, and the skin is not that heavy. From what I hear people saying, oh, the skin, LG skin, that's a preference right there, because putting these side by side with any other Android device, it's just icons. Make sense? So performance-wise in the software, you're not going to be disappointed with this. You know, people ask about boot loop. That was from like, how many years? 5 years ago? There's been no boot loop. So I think people should move past that and start trying LG phones again if you haven't already done so. This phone is absolutely great for performance, gaming, everything. It is just on point, man. Now, battery life is something that is always going to be subjective. I like to keep this puppy clean. Battery life is going to always be subjective, but what I will tell you is that my battery life is good enough for me. Everybody's battery life is going to be different depending on what devices you have on, applications you have on the device. But I say that this is really good battery for the size of the battery based on today's market with a Quad HD display and everything in the complete package. So the reason I say that is you compare this package to other phones that are pretty much identical in package, and you compare their battery and see what kind of battery you get. So for me, if I push it hard, I can get 7.5 hours screen on time, but I won't get a long life on like an overall charge. So, you know, you could probably get 16 to 18 hours possibly with about 7.5 hours screen on time. But I prefer to use the phone regularly. So like I would do day to day, and how I do that, I'm getting probably 24 to 26 hours on a charge with 5.5 to 6.5 hours of screen on time regularly. Obviously I'm averaging definitely 5.5, but most cases I can get higher than that. But I don't run the battery down to like 2% and stuff like that anymore. So that's where I'm at with that. I just use it and put it on the charger when it comes to 15%. And by that time, by the time I get to 15%, I'm at like 5.5 to almost 6 hours of screen on time. So if I run it down to 2%, 1%, those are like testing things that a person would do. I don't know that anybody actually runs their phones down that low. Most people plug them in, and some people don't let their phones drop past 50%. They've always got it on the charger just because. So battery life is always going to be subjective, but this phone to me has great battery life for the package that it's offering. I mean, you got a nice high resolution display. Remember to go into the display settings. Speaking of battery life, remember to go into the display settings and change the resolution to the highest one, because by default it comes right there. And I was like, whoa, you know, why would I want to have it that low? I didn't even know it. So be sure to change that, you know, if you want to. Now the font I'm using right now is called Odd Waggle or something like that. So just a free font that I downloaded from the store. So if you're wondering what font I have it at, you can see. But overall, folks, the performance or battery life of performance is actually really, really good. Now, price. This phone is totally worth 620 bucks. This phone is totally worth, in my opinion, 699 bucks. I don't want to go over $1,000 for a phone, but this phone doesn't even at the highest price point, is still not higher than some of its competitors. So it's worth it to me. If I would have paid 820 bucks for this, opposed to paying 899 or 1,000 for a Galaxy S device, this is still the better purchase to me. But the fact that you can get this for $699 unlocked is a killer deal, folks. It's just a killer deal, and I would recommend it. Now, I obviously bought the T-Mobile version because I got it for 619 bucks flat out. And then the unlock is free after 40 days. I could call them up and say, hey, I bought the phone outright. Give me my money, give me my unlock, and they will do it. But I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying this thing, and it's absolutely great, man. So I definitely recommend at this point in the game, the drawbacks that I've found, because I wasn't going to leave you and just make it sound like this phone's perfect. The drawbacks that I've found is I feel like I have to keep it in a case because of this slippery design. But this is a thing of the future. This is the way phones are now. This is the way it is. We're going to have to protect our investments with these cellular phones. And I hate to cover up such a beautiful design, which is why I went with this design right here. If you haven't seen this video, I'll try to remember to link it down below. But if not, just search my channel and you will find this case right here, the Fusion X by Rinky. It is absolutely just fantastic. And I think this is the perfect combination for your phone. But we have to cover up our devices, man. You have to cover them up because this hardware, even though this is supposed to be military grade, drop grade protection, I think if I drop this, it's probably going to shatter at the right spot if it hits somewhere. So, keep that in mind. But I really feel like, covering up these phones or putting a protection case on it, it's a must nowadays. It's a must. But I don't like the slippery design, so I'm hoping that a skin comes out for this so I don't have to wear a case all the time. But the fragileness of a phone nowadays is not to my liking. The front design on this, like I said before, wish it would have been different, but what can you say? There are several ways to unlock this phone if I hadn't said it yet. Fingerprint, face, hand. You can do a pin. You can do a little drawing pattern. The hand ID, I've done a video on that. If you haven't seen that already, check that out. It's not something that's another thing that I'm not gonna use. It's not ready for prime time yet. It's still a little finicky. It works just to unlock the phone, but all the other gestures and stuff that they have, I believe that's simulated. I believe, like when you see the video of what's the lady J-Lo doing it, I think that's all simulated because it is very difficult to even get this thing to work. So this is my personal opinion on it. You've got to be a master to do that, and I'm not a master. So yeah, other than those few things that I guess I would call dislikes or wishful thinking, it could have been different. It's a first stab at a lot of things. The portrait video is not perfect. There is blurriness sometimes I notice around my head and things like that. But I still think it's sharp, good, and a step in the right direction because I would definitely want to use portrait video for all of my blogs or just front-facing videos, and that's DSLR quality because you don't have to use a 50mm lens to do so. You just use your cell phone, and while it's not perfect, it's still fantastic for the price. So 10 days with this, it's actually been about 11 to 12 days by the time you see this video, but 10 days with this phone, it's fantastic, man. I don't have very many complaints at all. It has a headphone jack, it has wireless charging, the boom sound thing, like when you lay it on the table or whatever. I don't normally do that because I'm using the quad and triple driver earbuds right now, and they are awesome. If I didn't cover that, which I'm sure I didn't, but plugging into this phone is absolutely stunning. It is just a audiophile's dream to be able to plug in with this phone and get that type of quality. LG is the master of phone DACs, period. I don't see any other DAC on a phone that's pushing this kind of power, depending on what earbuds or headphones you plug in. You're gonna need some powerful headphones to push the DAC. But I've got triple, quad, I've got a bunch of different kinds over here, and they sound amazing. It's just that simple. There's a lot of things to cover in a phone review, and this could be my final review, unless I come back later with software updates, because I don't think I'm going to feel any different. You know what I'm saying? Like, at 12 days or so with this phone, almost 2 weeks, it's great, man. The size is good. I haven't put it down. I haven't taken my main SIM card out of it, It's just a win, man. The only thing that will make me take my SIM card out of this phone is the Sony Xperia 1. If that phone drops right now, I am all in with it. I'm all in. I am all in. And I think that's probably going to be the only phone right now at this very moment to pull me away from the G8. That's how much I like the G8. And remember, I have a ton of other phones over here that cost more, that have better sounding speakers. You know, it's this thing. Something about the G8. It's not because it's new. It's the user experience. I feel about this phone like I feel about my Pixel. This is probably one of the best phones I've ever used, and it has the stereo speakers and everything. But this phone right here offers a little bit more, and that's just the way it is. But you know, I guess it's a matter of personal preference at this point, and you're gonna have to decide what you like. So there it is, man. I guess this is kind of a full review. It shouldn't be, but I don't think I'm gonna feel any different over the next month or two of owning this phone. Who knows? Software updates might improve everything, you know? I don't know. It's your man Jay. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.